What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sideboard Files here on HEDRON.TV. Second part of the Sideboard Guide for Steel Stompy. My name is Malo, I'm your host as usual, and I am joined once again by the pilot of Steel Stompy, Man of Steel himself, Amadeus Grün. Welcome back.
Hello.
Nice to have you back. Nice to go on again with this deck. I'm so excited about it, actually. I'm going to soon buy it myself and play it a bit because I'm really falling in love with this deck and the way it works and everything. All right, so let's start with the first matchup. Sneak and Show. Favored, unfavored. How do you feel that?
You are very unfavored in game 1, except you win the die roll and start on Throne of Amethyst. Actually, only favored if you have the vintage start. You play, you are on the play, Throne of Amethyst, next turn, second Soulland, Lodestone Golem.
Okay.
That's the plan, then you are fine, they never beat that.
Sure.
But if not, you have to draw the Caracas and they have to go on Show and Tell, or they have a slow sneak attack and you have the Revoker. You're not an auto loss, but it's not very good.
It's not very good.
No, your tools are not line up against what they're doing.
Okay, so game 2, post side. What are your objectives?
Get out Ensnaring Bridge, lock them out of combat, win the game.
Okay, so basically preventing them from attacking.
Yes, play the hate pieces to protect the bridge.
Yeah.
And Spellsky to protect the bridge and get out the bridge or hold it in hand if you have the clans that they have to go off through Show and Tell.
Show and Tell. Okay, yes. Very good, very straightforward plan. So as we said, now we're going in depth with the sub plans on the play on the draw. They are the same for you.
Yes.
So what do you side out and what do you side in?
It hurts me hard, but you have to side out for Volt Scourge.
Mm-hmm.
To Hangerback Walker and one Sword of Fire and Ice. But in this game, in this matchup, you don't need the flying, you don't need the life gain. If they kill you in one big swing.
Sure.
And what you have to do is, like I said before, get out Ensnaring Bridge, protect it, and win the game via Walking Ballista or Hangerback Walker or Arcbound Ravager.
So what you side in are 4 Ensnaring Bridge
and 2 Spells Guide and 1 Sorcerer's Spyglass as the 5th Revoker for the sneak attack. I know almost all the good pilots cut down to 2 sneak attack or 1 sneak attack, but it's still the best option to kill me, except for Through the Breach, and Through the Breach is very expensive with only 1 Thorn or Golem.
Sure. It becomes like a 6 mana thing, and it's harder to cast, and you have the time actually to beat them down before they can actually reach that level.
Exactly.
Okay, so from their perspective, you expect them to go for Through the Breach and sneak attack in game 2 rather than let it Show and Tell after they saw what you're up to.
They have to have Show and Tell because that's their main plan.
Yeah, sure, but they know you have Caracas, so maybe they will go for a different thing.
If they don't have Show and Tell, that's good for me. All the other spells are more expensive, and I got the 4 bridges and the 2 Caracas to hold down everything with the creatures. It's very much tougher if they have Omniscience. But Omniscience is very bad against the Lodestone Golem because they have to do it with Show and Tell.
Sure.
Then my body comes in, they can't cast their stuff, or I have the bridge, they can't attack. So it very much depends on how many solutions to the bridge they have and what they are.
Yeah.
What you have to do to log out the game. What's interesting is if they have Wipe Away, your Spells by Guide becomes worse because Split Second prevents you from redirecting the spell. Echoing Truth is very good if you have more bridges, no Spells Guide, then you have to have a Ravager to sack the bridge that is targeted, so the other bridges are not affected by Echoing Truth. So you have to think about what solutions they have and what kind of lock do I have to establish, and on what point I can kill them in one swing.
Okay. So at the end of the day, it's about understanding what I'm going to go for in tune to that plan. I mean, the cards are always the same. But the way you want to use them, the way you want to play them, it's a bit different. But most of the time, if you have like double Ensnaring Bridge, you win the game.
Yes.
Especially because Wipe Away is not going to be enough. And Echoing Truth, if you can sack one of the bridges, we talked about this interaction in the first,
or redirect
the first part
to,
of the Sideboard
to
Guide.
Spells Guide.
Yeah.
One of the 6 is enough to protect it. That's a very cool thing about this deck. Arcbound Ravager is a very powerful card, and in many sideboarded games, it acts as a protection against the removal of your opponent.
Okay. So I think we said it all for this matchup. We can go just for the next one. We go for Burn. I mean, Burn pops up every now and then in competitive events as well. It's not super popular, but it's still a deck.
It's still a deck.
Yeah.
And you might think it's not good to play with a deck that has 4 creatures that hurt yourself and 4 Ancient Tombs against burn.
Yeah.
But actually, you are very favored against burn.
Are you? Okay.
The first game is hard because you don't know it's burn. And if you don't know it and have the double Ancient Tomb draw, you might lose to yourself because you have created your own Eidolon of the Great Revel and don't need them to do that.
Yeah, sure.
But they are very bad against Chalice. The deck has not enough lands to play against Throne of Amethyst, and Steel Overseer outpowers them very quickly.
Okay.
And you have enough blockers for Goblin Guides, Swift Spears, all that stuff.
Okay, so let's talk about post-sideboard. The objectives against this deck, against burn.
Yep, burn is... the problem is you have to get your life gain on or lock them out of the game. That's the 2 possibilities against burn. In your main deck, you have 4 very bad cards that are Phyrexian Revokers because they have no targets besides Grim Lavamancer. This is 1 to 2 in the deck. And you bought out 1 Ancient Tomb because you need a Soul Land, but you don't want double Ancient Tomb. You almost always lose double Ancient Tomb, no other lands. I think it's totally ignorable what you have in your hand. If you have double Ancient Tomb and never draw another land, you lose anyway.
Yeah, okay.
So you so sideboard 1 out.
Okay.
And in goes 2 Spells Guides, 2 Wretched Bomb, and 1 Sword of Fire and Ice.
Okay, what's the role of these cards?
Spells Guide is the best card you can have against burn. Most of the spells deal 3 damage, and Spells Guide ignores them. You take 2 or tap your Mox Opal or your Lotus Petal, redirect it, and nothing happened. Wretched Bomb is very good because 8 of their creatures, 8 to 10, are 1-drops. So you have the one-sided Wrath of God in your deck. Or you play it on turn 1, and if they play an Eidolon, you can blow it up without taking damage.
Sure.
And Sword of Fire and Ice give a creature of your choice protection from their deck, because everything is red. And you can shoot down their creatures or speed up your clock. So it's very simple.
Okay. Yeah, all very straightforward, all very crystal clear. So we can go for the next matchup, another combo deck. We talked about Sneak and Show before, now we talk about Black-Red Reanimator.
Actually, we're talking about Black-Red Reanimator and Blue-Black Reanimator.
Ah, okay, both of them. So your plan is the same. Okay, very good. So we're covering 2 matchups here. Yeah. Excellent.
Like in Storm, Tess, and Storm.
Okay, like we did in the previous video with this other matchup. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so how do you feel this matchup? Game 1?
It depends on the die roll. If you win the die roll, put out an hate piece on turn 1, they don't have enough lands to execute their game plan, so you will win. That's different between Blue-Black and Black-Red. Blue-Black can have the Force of Will to stop your hate piece, and Black-Red can have the Chancellor showing you. You have to have a 0-mana spell or a Hangerback Walker you can't play in it for 0, or a Walking Ballista. So you only have to cast a spell. What spell is totally irrelevant.
Okay.
So if you win the die roll, it's good. If you lose the die roll, you need the Caracas, or you will probably lose game 1.
Okay.
But I'm willing to take.
Okay, but post side, things change because, I mean, you have a quite, say, aggressive sideboard plan. Yeah. And generally speaking, what do you want to do in game 2 post side?
Game 2 and game 3 are the same. You have to have Leyline of the Void or Ensnaring Bridge. Both cards are virtually unbeatable for them, except they have, for Leyline of the Void, Show and Tell or Stronghold's Gambit.
Okay, so you want to prevent them from
using their graveyard.
From using the graveyard or to attack.
Or to attack, one of the 2. And the solutions are totally different. To beat Ensnaring Bridge, they need their 1-off Tidespour Tyrant, or they don't win.
Yes.
And for Leyline of the Void, the Black-Red Reanimator needs the Reverent Silence. The Blue-Black Reanimator needs their Show and Tell plan. But Show and Tell, we discussed in the Sneak Show part of the video, is not very good against me with 2 Caracas and 4 bridges. So I think it's very favorable after sideboard.
Okay, so it turns tides. I think with the Sneak and Show, we were talking about it before, it's the same.
Yes.
In game 1, you're not really favored. Actually, it could be a difficult matchup, but it comes completely different after sideboard. You are much more favored.
Correct.
Okay, so let's go in depth with the sideboard plans, because here you side quite a lot of cards. So let's have a look at those. What do you side out and what do you side in?
I side out 2 Hangerback Walkers because they are for value matchups. Sword of Fire and Ice is too slow. 4 Phyrexian Revokers can be good because they can name Griselbrand and Lotus Petal, but I play Lotus Petal too, and I need them because this is a matchup with Ensnaring Bridge and Thorn of Amethyst together. It could be a 4-mana spell. And doesn't do too much, so they forego out. And the last two cards are very hard for me because that's one of the only matchups I always think about, siding out Steel Overseer and Walking Ballista, but they are worse than the Ravager and the Volt Scourge because Lifelink is very relevant against them. Almost always they play Reanimate and go very low on life. And so if they don't Reanimate Griselbrand, you can raise them with Volt Scourge. And I know it sounds like crazy with a 1/1 Volt Scourge, but it really happens a lot of times. Okay.
This is quite a difference between Sneak and Show and Reanimator. Because in Reanimator, you want to have the Volt Scourge there.
Yes.
Okay.
Because the creatures are others.
Yeah.
Griselbrand is the same, but Griselbrand is not the card I'm afraid of. In Sneak and Show, I'm afraid of Emrakul.
Sure.
And in Reanimator, I'm most afraid of Sire of Insanity. Because you lose your hand on the play. Sire of Insanity is a win. That's why Leyline of the Void is in the deck. And I'm afraid of Sideboard Tyrant.
Sure, because it bounces all your stuff.
Yeah, and both of them are not legendary. And do things that the bridge not completely shuts down.
Okay, so what comes in are 4 bridges.
4 Leyline of the Void and 1 Spells Guide.
Okay.
If you wonder why only 1 Spells Guide, I don't want to take out another Ballista or another Steel Overseer. And for this matchup, it's not as relevant to protect your hate pieces because most of the anti-hate they bring are not redirectable. So the Sideboard Tyrant, it's totally irrelevant if you have the Spells Guide or not.
Sure.
Reverend Silence destroys all enchantments, can't be redirected. So it's not as relevant. Can make a case for not bringing in the Spells Guide and leaving in the Steel Overseer to have a faster clock. But I think Spells Guide is good if they have something like Abrupt Decay, the old versions of Blue-Black, or they have Wear and Tear, something like that out of Black-Red Reanimator. And if you play against Black-Red Reanimator, you have always think about having 1 creature in your hand because they could have Stronghold's Gambit.
Okay.
And Stronghold's Gambit fires back in a big way if you have 1 creature in your hand.
Sure. Absolutely. So, but if they are competitive players, though, they will probably try to see what you have in hand before firing off the Stronghold Gambit. But if you keep your creature, at least they know you have it, and they are not able to use it.
And most of the time, they can do it in 1 turn against you.
Yeah.
They look, and your top decks, you're playing, I think, 26 creatures. Yes, at what something so 24. You almost always top deck 1.
Yeah. So you're quite likely actually to have a creature in your hand. Just keep 1 in, so you make sure that their Stronghold Gambit is absolutely useless.
Keep on doing the math. What is my clock if I play this? If I don't play this, does it really cut down a turn? Is it really worth risking Stronghold's Gambit?
Sure.
That's what you always have to do with this deck is do the math each turn.
Yeah. Understand how much resources you want to commit to the battlefield. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So I think we said it all. I think we talked about all the matchups we wanted to talk about. And one last thing. I mean, there are a few more matchups in Legacy, like Miracle Control, like Chess Pile. I mean, we have other decks that we haven't... Grixis Delver, that we haven't talked about yet. And there is quite a reason for it. I mean, did you face some of these decks that I just mentioned in the MKM series? Yeah,
the Check Pile in the finals. Yeah. Grixis Delver in round 7.
Okay.
I faced Food Chain in round 3. Miracles not, but I think it's a buy.
You think it's a buy?
Yeah.
Okay, but you don't have
and enough. I faced Moon Stompy. That's a very bad matchup.
Okay. So the thing is, as far as I understand, you don't have enough testing to back up a perfect cyber plan for these matchups yet.
Yeah, the problem is I know what to do board in, but I don't know what to take out.
Okay.
It's the same as for Storm in the previous video, where taking out Caracas was the latest edition of my brother.
Yes.
Who said you don't need 1 more land that produces 1 mana. And he can say that because he plays Storm all the time. And I don't have testing partners for those matchups to clarify what to do.
Okay, so not yet. So you need a little bit more time, and when you will know what were you going to do, we make another video.
We make another video.
How about that? How about that? Yes, because I totally understand. I mean, you don't want to give incomplete information. So it's just better to just meet again when you know exactly what you want to do. Or in case there is no, let's say, real fixed plan, we can also talk about these matchups, saying that depends on who you're playing against. It depends on how you think they're going to sideboard in, sideboard out. We can discuss those matchups as well in the future in a different way. But you need first to do more testing and to have some experience that backs up.
And it really depends. It depends on many things, on how they sideboard, as you said, on have they basic lands in their deck or not. It's a very tipping point in playing against Checkpile. My finals opponent I knew had no basic lands. That makes it to board out other cards than against a deck with basics. Sure.
If we're talking about Thomas Marr, I mean, very, very accomplished player. So you have to be very careful about your choices when you're facing that kind of opponent, of course. Yeah,
and he plays even better because he, like myself, built his deck on its own.
Yeah.
If you build your deck, it matches your playstyle. It all comes natural to you as you play it. So it makes a very tough opponent.
Yeah, sure. This is the privilege of being your own brewer. I mean, in your case, you took an archetype, but somehow you reinvented it. Because the way you play it is different from how the deck used to work before. And it works the way you want it, so you feel it.
Like Thomas feel his deck.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, totally understandable. All right, so we reached the end of this second part of the Sideboard Guide. It's going to be maybe a third part sometime soon, or maybe in the future. We don't know. That's the truth. So I'm just going to wait for you to do some more testing and see if you can come up with some interesting stuff. Like, okay, Eureka, I found what to do exactly in this matchup, what to board out, which is the trickiest part, because we all know, I mean, sideboarding is a very fine art. It's difficult to sideboard correctly. It's difficult to have a clear sideboard plan. And the hardest part is what to take out.
Yes.
Without destroying the game plan and the way your main deck works. So this requires time and research. Absolutely. But yeah.
Can't say anything more. Totally correct.
All right. Thank you very much. And of course, thank you very much, Amadeus, for being here.
Always a pleasure to be here.
And hopefully you will come back soon enough. Maybe, talking about Steel Stompy, or maybe talking about other decks. We will see. Okay. Because you've been playing some other decks in the past.
Yes.
Backdelver, I remember you on that.
Yes.
That kind of thing. Yeah.
Black Green, Dark Depths Chalice.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. So maybe we could make some episodes about those decks as well. And thank you once again. And a big thank you to all of you who've been watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you want to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, facebook.com/HEDRON.TV, twitter.com/HEDRON.TV, and stay tuned on HEDRON.TV for more content to come. For now, it's goodbye.
Goodbye.